While the visual dimension of cinema is often the most immediately recognized, sound is equally essential to the experience of film. Sound operates both consciously and subconsciously, shaping how we perceive mood, space, time, and character. In this module, we explore the complex and layered world of cinematic sound, from diegetic and non-diegetic soundscapes to the powerful role of music, dialogue, silence, and ambient noise in shaping narrative and emotional resonance. Far beyond mere technical accompaniment, sound is an aesthetic and ideological force in film. It anchors realism, manipulates audience psychology, marks transitions, and often serves as a carrier of subtext or cultural codes. Directors like Alfred Hitchcock, Stanley Kubrick, Christopher Nolan, and Akira Kurosawa have demonstrated that aural design is just as crucial as cinematography or editing in crafting meaning. In this module, we will analyze theories of cinematic sound, the history of sound in film, from silent cinema to Dolby Atmos, and the role of film composers, sound designers, and Foley artists. We will also consider the politics of voice, gendered soundscapes, and how sound can both include and exclude certain characters or communities from the cinematic world. Learning objectives. By the end of this module, you will be able to A. Identify and differentiate between various sound types, diegetic, non-diegetic, synchronous, asynchronous, ambient, and Foley. B. Analyze how sound and music contribute to character development, narrative rhythm, genre expectations, and emotional impact. C. Understand the historical evolution of sound in cinema and its technological revolutions. D. Critically assess how silence and absence of sound function as narrative tools. E. Examine the ideological and cultural implications of sound, including issues of race, gender, and power in vocal representation. F. Apply theoretical frameworks to evaluate sound as an aural semiotic system in film. G. Explore case studies in which sound redefines or contradicts visual content, adding layers of ambiguity or irony. Key concepts and theories. 1. Types of sound in film. A. Diegetic sound. Sound originating within the narrative world of the film, e.g., character dialogue, footsteps, gunshots. B. Non-diegetic sound. Sound external to the film's world, such as musical score or a narrator's voice. C. Synchronous sound. Sound matched to the action on screen, e.g., lip-synced dialogue. D. Asynchronous sound. Sound not matched with the visual source, e.g., off-screen dialogue or ambient noise. E. Ambient sound. Background sound that gives spatial atmosphere, wind, traffic, birds. F. Foley. Sound. Artificially created sound effects to mimic real sounds, rustling clothes, breaking bones. G. Voiceover. Narration overlaid on the visual track, which can be diegetic from a character or non-diegetic, omniscient narration. 2. The functions of film sound. A. Emotional underscoring. Music can heighten or shift the emotional tone, e.g., horror film stingers or romantic violin melodies. B. Narrative information. Dialogue delivers plot exposition, inner thoughts, or conflict. C. Psychological realism. Sound can mimic mental states, e.g., tinnitus effect, to show trauma. D. Genre conventions. Specific sound designs are tied to genre, e.g., eerie violins in horror, trumpets in westerns. E. Character identity. Characters may be associated with leitmotifs, repeating musical themes, or unique soundscapes. F. Spatial orientation. Sound can direct attention to off-screen space or deepen spatial immersion. 3. The history of sound in cinema. A. Silent era, 1895 to 1927. Live musical accompaniment and intertitles. B. Transition to sound, 1927 to 1931. The Jazz Singer, 1927, introduces synchronized sound. C. Golden Age of Hollywood, dialogue-heavy cinema, scores by Max Steiner and Bernard Herrmann. D. Post-classical and experimental sound, French New Wave, Kubrick's use of classical music, Altman's overlapping dialogue. D. Digital revolution, multi-track sound, Dolby Digital, surround sound systems, immersive sound design, e.g., Gravity. F. Contemporary practices, non-traditional music cues, minimalist scores, Hans Zimmer, Ryuichi Sakamoto, sound in virtual reality, and interactive cinema. 4. Theoretical frameworks, Michel Chion. Audio vision. A. Synkresis. Spontaneous mental fusion of a sound and a visual when they occur at the same time. B. Acousmeter, a voice that speaks from outside the visible frame, mysterious or divine presence. Rick Altman, Sound Theory in Film. A. Critiques the subordination of sound to image in classical cinema. B. Advocates for sound as an independent semiotic system. Laura Mulvey, Feminist Film Theory and Sound. A. Voice's power, how male and female characters are differently vocalized or silenced. B. Sound in relation to the gaze and cinematic control. 5. Cultural and political dimensions of sound. A. Voice and power, who gets to speak, whose voice dominates the narrative, e.g., narration by white males in nature documentaries. B. Accents, dialects, and class. Sound design can reproduce or challenge class and racial hierarchies. C. Silence as protest. Films like A Quiet Place or The Tribe use silence or minimal sound as resistance to noise-saturated cinema. D. Sound and disability. Accessibility and representation of hearing-impaired characters or audiences, e.g., Sound of Metal, Coda. 6. Iconic examples of sound in film. A. Film title sound element. B. The Jazz Singer, 1927. First synchronized sound feature circa Psycho, 1960. Screeching violins in shower scene. D. 2001. A Space Odyssey, 1968. Classical score and star silence in space. E. Apocalypse Now, 1979. Helicopter sounds plus Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries. F. The Conversation, 1974. Surveillance and distorted sound as narrative tool. G. Dunkirk, 2017. Shepard tone to build infinite tension. Ch. Sound of Metal, 2019. Subjective sound design to represent hearing loss. I. Get Out, 2017. Hypnosis scene sound as a gateway to the sunken place. J. The Godfather, 1972. Use of silence before violence. K. Inception, 2010. Slowed Edith Piaf track used as a temporal marker between dreams. Suggested readings and resources. A. Michel Chion, Audio Vision, Sound on Screen. B. Rick Altman, Sound Theory, Sound Practice. Circa Claudia Gorbman, Unheard Melodies, Narrative Film Music. D. Walter Murch, In the Blink of an Eye, Chapter on Sound Editing. E. Kaja Silverman, The Acoustic Mirror, The Female Voice in Psychoanalysis and Cinema. F. Liz Green and Daniela Kulisic Wilson, The Palgrave Handbook of Sound Design and Music in Screen Media Assignments and Activities. A. Sound Scene, Breakdown. Select a 2 to 3 minute film sequence and identify all types of sound used. Discuss how each contributes to mood, character, and plot. B. Sound Design Project. Using a silent film clip, students must add sound, Foley, music, dialogue, to create a new mood or genre. C. Comparative Analysis. Analyze how two films from different genres use music and sound differently to shape audience expectations. D. Voice and Identity. Essay. Explore how voice functions in a specific film to express or suppress character identity, e.g., Her, Black Panther. E. Silence. Study. Evaluate a scene that uses silence as a central element, e.g., No Country for Old Men, and reflect on its impact.